Hey guys, it's Rachel Castile. Welcome to Heart Work Monday here at Typology Corner. This is a series all about healing your heart through the lens of the Enneagram and learning to grow in a way that actually honors your lived experience. And today we're going to be talking about something that's extremely important, something that is easily left behind in just life. We give away this to be accepted, to survive, to stay safe, and that is our real voice. Not just your words, but the version of you that has been waiting to be heard, like deep down under our survival strategies. And depending on what our Enneagram type is, we've learned to silence parts of ourselves just to stay connected. And when we abandon our voice, we abandon our essence. So that's what this episode is all about. It's not about speaking louder, it's about reconnecting to your truth and giving yourself permission to show up fully and freely. So, first, let's get into the cost of losing your voice. Your voice carries your truth, and when you hide it, a piece of you goes missing. This is so important to look at. Like in my own life, I live so shut down for so many different reasons. Like it's kind of hard to like even unpack how shut down my soul has been. Like I felt a lot of times like I didn't even know how to access my real self to even share it with people. And it's like whenever the opposite side of you is affirmed and not what you really are or something that you're able to show up for, it's kind of like what you can give that's acceptable, that gets you valued in the world, but it's not really what your voice is. It's not what you see, what you add, your intelligence, your perspective, your experience. It's just incredibly like defeating and like a hopeless reality gets formed out of not being able to be what you are in the world. So you wind up getting kind of pigeonholed into what you can be in the environment that you grew up in or whatever shaped you. And for me, um, yeah, when I spoke, it was a problem a lot of times in my environment that I grew up in. My actual thoughts, the things that I actually wanted to explore and speak on. Um, yeah, for me as a type 2, it was just like tune into others, be helpful, stay connected to them, um, show up for them, and that gave me value within the community that I was in. But in essence, I learned as a type 2 to look away from my own needs, from having the conversations I actually need to talk about. That was not something I felt I could do, or I felt that that was selfish, or it was very vulnerable to do that, as though I didn't know that my needs were that important. And yeah, so it's taken a journey to find my voice again, to get out of so much like criticism on myself that I can speak and flow and know that what comes up in me is enough and it's what I need to bring to the moment. And yeah, so this is my journey of finding my own voice again here on the channel and in all that I do. So I want to continue to talk on this because uh, I just feel like each one of us, no matter what your Enneagram type is, we, at our essence, we carry something that we bring to the conversation, we bring to the world around us. We take responsibility for different things in the world based on how we're wired, and it's important for us to embark on this journey of healing, waking up from the coping strategy of our Enneagram type so that we can bring what we each innately offer to the world. And that is a hard journey. It's like swimming upstream with the current going against you. Because it's very easy to just be in community, and what you offer within your Enneagram coping strategy, you can be given a job, a task, a role, in your sleeping state and live your whole life that way and not really fulfill your purpose, not really tap into who you really are. And that's why coming back to this and getting back in touch with the child you before you went to sleep, like what she or he carried, is so important. So that's what I aim to do in this video. I'm going to explore the 9 Enneagram types, what their voice really carries, how they went to sleep to themselves, and why they did. It's kind of how we trade our voice for something that seemed like we needed that other thing. So we set our voice down and we shrink. So yeah, I want to just encourage you in this video, for you to hear your childhood story and to find your voice again, and to begin on the path to step into the courage to say what your heart is really saying, to bring out in your communities what you carry, what you bring attention to, and to add that value, and to know that your lived experience matters and the expression of it is so important. So first, let's look at the cost of losing your voice. So your voice carries your truth, and when you hide it, a piece of you goes missing. Some of us were told explicitly or implicitly that we were too much, too emotional, too needy, or not enough. Others learned to perform, blend in, deflect, or shrink to avoid conflict or rejection. What starts as a coping strategy often becomes a cage. And the longer we silence ourselves, the more we disconnect, not just from others, but from our own hearts. This is the risk of the descent into our coping strategies. And a genuine, like, painful reality, I've walked through it, is like, as you start to wake up from what you've done to avoid rejection, you start to experience rejection. Because whatever you attained through the coping strategy, it's gonna fall apart. And it is painful. It genuinely is, but it's the journey within. It's the journey to become more in alignment, to synchronize with our real needs, our real expression, the things that are really on our heart. We're waking up to ourselves again. And that's where we have our greatest potential. That's where we begin to, as individuals, carry our power, our authority to create change in the world, which is what we really all are. Like, we all have gifts, we all have a purpose, we all have what comes out of us in a natural flow of existence, our essence. This is what we're made for. This is what we're made to color the world with. And yeah, if we're living in a comfortable place, we might be around a lot of sleeping people. So it's a vulnerable experience to embark on this journey, but you rediscover the beauty within. You rediscover the child you that's always been there and always had a particular light that graces the environment in a way that no one else can. And it's like there's enough bread to go around for everybody whenever we contribute what we are to our environments, to our communities. There's enough work for everybody to do that is innate to them. I just see it like in terms of like industry or community. The greatest change is birthed from living from this place. When we wake up to our real selves, what is meant for you won't miss you when you are living as you truly are. So I'm stepping into that as I just kind of let myself flow. I'm discovering that I can real time be me and be the voice I was always meant to be without effort, but it's more so a choice to stay connected to my essence in all that I do. So it's like breaking off these beliefs that I can't be her. It's like, no, she is available. She is an option in this moment for me to stay in touch with as I be. And this is the journey of breaking off the old, getting back in touch. So yeah, now let's look at reclaiming your voice by Enneagram type. So think of your child self, listen, soak this story in. I'm going to go through each of the 9 Enneagram types, of what your voice is like, how you went to sleep to your real voice, traded it for something that you felt you needed to survive, to be safe, to be accepted. Yeah. So let's start with type 1, the reformer. You learned early that being right was safer than being vulnerable. You feared being seen as wrong, bad, or flawed. So you polished your voice into perfection. But in the process, you swallowed your heart. The world doesn't need your principles, it needs your presence. This is waking up. The world doesn't need your principles, it needs your presence. But you see how the strategy of that, if you feel like you have to be right, you're already not at rest. You don't know that your presence is valued. This is how we fall away from presence, each one of these types. The world doesn't just need your principles, it needs your presence. Your voice brings clarity, integrity, and a moral compass to the world, to a world lost in compromise. This is the beauty, like the desire to be right, to not be wrong. That's not a bad thing. That's like having integrity and having clarity on like being able to discern good and evil. But whenever you know that your presence matters again, when you know that you're loved, whether you make a mistake or not, then you're restored in being able to guide the world with this gift. It's a really beautiful thing. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. Type 1, you bring clarity, integrity, and you're a moral compass to a world lost in compromise. Next is type 2, the helper. You were praised for being kind, quiet, and selfless, but rarely asked how you were doing. So you pushed your needs aside, afraid they'd be too much. Yeah. And the truth is, but your needs matter, your desires are valid. When you speak your truth, you show the world that love isn't one-sided. Your voice brings connection, compassion, and the courage to set boundaries. Yeah, I've seen this in my life. Like the things that is on my heart is that last sentence about setting boundaries. What is love? Like what is a loving agreement, a loving relationship? How do we stay connected? How do we have compassion for one another? And I found like setting boundaries. What is the healthy place where this is like mutually beneficial? That's birthed out of seeing my own needs, knowing what they are, and standing by those, that somebody's needs shouldn't at some point negate my own needs. That's me finding like, no, this is a need that I have, and this is appropriate where we can meet together, that this is healthy for the both of us. And I've had to learn that boundaries. And then the more I live that way, the more I can be that influence, that my voice becomes like an advocate for relational health. And yeah, that's as I wake back up to my own needs as a type 2. So, yeah. Next is type 3, the achiever. You mastered the art of saying what people wanted to hear. You became fluent in success, but lost touch with your soul. Yeah. Became fluent with success at the expense of your soul. When you reclaim your authentic voice, you show the world that worth isn't performance. Your voice brings hope, motivation, and the strength to be real. There's still that powerful leader that has a work ethic and is prone to success and helping people be successful, but it's from their real core. Like you begin to carry that and be motivation, and teaching people how to access that real place in themselves and how to be successful through living that way. It's the beautiful byproduct as you get back in touch with that, with the real you, that it won't be at the expense of your success, but the real you is what makes you successful, which is so much more freeing and life-giving, and it breaks this off of other people as well. And next is type 4, the individualist. You felt too deep, too dramatic, too different, so you withdrew into a world of silence, afraid your truth would be rejected or misunderstood. This, I just see like the depths of emotion, not feeling connected to the parents or being able to tell your story, or it being misunderstood, that just causing the 4 to not really risk that experience. So they're kind of muting themselves, withholding themselves. They've kind of given up that their real self could be known in a way, or really loved for like who they are, what their experience is. And the truth for type 4 is, but your voice is the song the world forgot how to sing. And the full range of your emotion, the full range of your experience, it's all part of the human experience. And y'all are the most in touch with the depths of the heart, the depths of emotion. And yeah, as you create from this place, as you express, it does awaken this in other people. Your voice, you bring beauty, emotional honesty, and a path back to the soul. Yeah. You're awakening this in other people. That's the power, the beauty, and why your voice is needed as it is. And the hard part, it is, you're kind of risking being misunderstood. You're risking being rejected. But this is the freedom us as individuals have to embark on, and why the thing that we're afraid of, we do need to work kind of to walk against the current of our core fear, and yeah, to bring out what we are. And that's a journey of coming to know how loved we are, how safe we are, how protected we are. It comes out of a discovery that each heart needs to know. But in this video, I'm just wanting to emphasize the value of the voice. What does the voice bring? And that's what type 4s bring to the world. Next is type 5, the investigator. You grew up feeling like your inner world was the only safe space. You learned to protect it by staying quiet, just observing, not expressing. This withdrawing, fear of being depleted, fear of being too much, fear of being a burden. So 5s are learning, researching, observing the world, And this is the truth about what you are, what you see is but your insight is powerful. Your mind is a gift. It truly is. Your voice brings wisdom, clarity, and thoughtful truth that helps others see deeper. Your musings, your thoughts, the things that you're observing is very powerful for the world around you. And think of we're all on a journey of healing our inner child so that they can continue to be what they always were. That's the purpose of this video, to continue to be what you always were. This is what you carried in your essence when you came here. It's just the heart of a 5 felt like the only safe place was their inner world. So there's a conservation of themselves, of their energy. But your voice brings wisdom, clarity, and thoughtful truth that helps others see deeper. When you're in community, when you're sharing, when your heart comes to know that you're safe and you won't be depleted. Yeah. Because we're moving into the head triad around safety, security, anxiety and fear, things like that. Yeah. Next is type 6, the loyalist. You second guessed yourself because you feared being wrong or left out, abandoned. You spoke cautiously, calculating safety in every word. The descent. But your voice carries discernment, depth, and unwavering presence. Type 6 is very community oriented. They have this desire, this scanning for the worst case scenarios. It's also like looking out for people too. And they really can be very grounded and loyal whenever they know that they're safe, when they know that they can trust their inner voice, whenever they're less frantically kind of looking around. That same gifting means they can discern really well. So yeah, as a type 6 child or adult who's looking at who they still are as an adult, like what is your gift? Is when you speak from trust and not fear, you become a voice that others can count on. That's steady, almost that steady Eddie. But yeah, that loyalist gifting of type 6, the guardian of their communities. You could think of like a watchman, like they can really watch out and tend to the community and be able to discern and help the people around them. That this like cautious, calculating sort of mind is now being used from a place of trust and rest. Yeah. Next is type 7, the enthusiast. You were celebrated for being upbeat, light, and fun, but rarely invited to share your pain. So you used your voice to entertain, but not to reveal. So you're not necessarily speaking to what you see, what you've experienced, the real spectrum of life, but you're celebrated for the upbeat stuff. Planning things like the pattern of 7, it's in the fear triad of planning positive things to shift their focus, to kind of reframe away from the painful things. But the truth is, your voice holds depth, resilience, and real joy. Actual joy, not just the appearance of it. And when you share what hurts And what heals, you set others free. Yeah, being able to be somebody who holds the full spectrum of experience, who can be grateful in all things, who can see the actual joy in the little things, in walking through real life, walking through grief, walking through seasons into the next season, seeing what you got out of the previous season, what you learned from the things that you went through, like that full spectrum. Yeah, you're able to set others free from their pain as you look at how you got through things, how you healed from things, what you learned from it. You facilitate real joy in the world. The actual truth of the optimist sort of thought process, the enthusiast, the adventurer. Yeah, your voice of freedom, of real abundant life in the whole experience of life. So yeah, it's like knowing that you can experience all things and still see the good with being present with all of it. And next is type 8, the challenger. You learn to be loud to stay safe, protecting your softness with strength. But too often your real voice got mistaken for aggression. Yeah. Yeah. When you really were saying what you needed to say, people just saw you as aggressive. This happens a lot. But the truth is, when you speak from your heart, not just your will, you bring protection, truth, and justice to places where others were silenced. You stand up for the underdog. You say what needs to be said. You cut through the noise. You protect. You're a defender of the soft places, in other people, but also in yourself. The more you're in touch with that, the more you can speak from your heart. And there is that power, but it doesn't have that fear of being betrayed, that fear of being like done wrong, taken advantage of, that can drive type 8 into like power and control. It's just this quiet power that knows that it doesn't have to overly defend itself in that way, but it's an authority, I think is one way to say it for type 8. There's an authority in living from your heart and being a voice of justice, a voice of truth for those who can't defend themselves. When I think of like type 8, I think of like a lawyer, kind of like that advocate for others. That's the beauty of type 8, to challenge things that needs to be challenged, that's not beneficial to community. It's not beneficial for society or whatever it is, your family. Yeah. And then type 9, the peacemaker. You learn to keep the peace by losing your presence. You let others speak while you faded into the background. This is the descent from your heart, from your voice, your essence. But the truth is, your voice is grounded, it's calming and unifying. When you speak with presence, you bring people back into wholeness and harmony. This is kind of the paradox of type 9, the peacemaker, is they can create a false, quick peace at the expense of themselves. But when they step back into their own value, their own worth, their voice does create peace, but it might destroy some things that are in the way of real harmony. As it speaks from its own value, it begins to speak to the trauma, speak to the things, the abuse, and it brings real harmony, because there isn't harmony if the 9 is suffering to keep it, which is something that they can easily find themselves being in, is not wanting to rock the boat. Yeah, it's that fear of being separate, like separated or losing connection. Um, but it's sometimes necessary to have a little bit of turbulence, because you inserted your view, you inserted your perspective into the conversation, and it did create a wave and people did adjust, but it was a positive adjustment where there is actual harmony and it's wholeness, not brokenness. So 9s, whenever they are present in their voice, when they live from their essence and they add themselves to the room instead of shrinking back, they do begin to heal, make whole, and unify. Yeah. So that's the picture of all 9 types. If you could hear your type, I'd love to hear that in the comments. Let me know below what that looks like for you. And if you feel like what I described you could resonate with, I'd love to hear that. And now let's look at a voice worth hearing. You don't have to wait for permission to be fully you. Yeah, this is not going to come from others. It's great to be affirmed, it's great to be supported, but if your voice is built on the support of some people, then the disapproval that could pop up has the potential of derailing you. I've experienced this a lot in my journey. Your foundation matters if you're living from a place of, I need to do this for me. I need to step back into who I am. When you make that decision, apart from it being anchored on someone else, now you're actually sitting in your seat of authority. You're actually resting in your actual identity. You're resting in your divinity, truthfully. We are all divine light. We all carry a specific message, a specific experience that we're created to give to the world. And that's a journey of each individual to walk back within themselves to their actual essence. And really, nobody can help you do that. They can encourage you, but when this is like, for this to be sustainable, you have to choose it for you. You have to let go of all the potentials. There's the potential of being made fun of. There's potential of being rejected. There's potential of people walking away from you. There's so much of slander, people betraying you. It's like, think of like all the worst fears of all of the 9 Enneagram types. Like, they are potentials. But how we get back in touch with our essence is we have to stop running from our core fear. We have to give ourselves what we've been chasing outside of ourselves. We have to realize we already have it. What we're looking for, if you're looking for stability outside of you, you need to go within and trust your inner voice. That's like a type 6 journey. But we all have our own journey with that, of what that looks like. And also know that your voice isn't selfish. Your voice isn't selfish. It can feel that way when you're in community rooted on you not speaking. rooted on you not saying what you need to say, not telling your experience. Your voice can feel selfish. It's like, if you speak, all of this is going to fall apart. Well, it's like, what if it's just a house of cards that's actually detrimental to everybody involved? And me being a voice is what actually needs to be said. These are the things that needs to be brought out so that we can all heal, so that we can all be made whole, that we can be set free, that the chains can fall off of each person. That's what it looks like when an adult decides to get back in touch with who they really are as a child and to live that out. That is a courageous decision. And as each one of us makes that decision for ourselves, this is where we become unstoppable, because we're not being propped up on by the, I would say, the coping strategies, the codependencies in relationship. This is when we've chosen to liberate ourselves. Like when I think of this video right now, like I have to remind my heart, like not to rush ahead of my heart, not to people please. Our real selves is always an option. Our real selves is always an option in every moment. The now is when I get to choose to be what I am. It's when I get to choose to let go of the fear. There's the fear of being unwanted. There's the fear of being misunderstood that I personally have had to get over myself. Extremely. I wanted to look up something real quick. Okay, so here's the core fears of all the 9 types. These are the fears we have to choose to stop running from, that we won't let these control our lives anymore. Type 1, the fear of being wrong, bad, evil, inappropriate, unredeemable, or corruptible. Type 2, the fear of being rejected or unwanted, being thought worthless, needy, inconsequential, dispensable, or unworthy of love. Me as a type 2, these are the things I've had to stop running from or trying to control, trying to make sure these things don't happen. Like, it's like being willing. It's like that Bible story of Esau being willing to give up his birthright for a bowl of beans. Like, when we look back on it, it's not worth it. It's not worth giving up our essence to prevent these things. These things are lies. So when you run from something that you're afraid of, you subconsciously believe it's true. That's what we have to face within ourselves. It's like, I'm not rejected. I am wanted. I am worthy. Instead of the fear of being needy, it's like, it's okay to be needy. Like, I have needs. I am worthy of love. For type 3, it's the fear of being exposed as or thought incompetent, inefficient, or worthless, failing to be or to appear successful. Type 4, the fear of being inadequate, emotionally cut off, plain, mundane, defective, flawed, or insignificant. Type 5, being alienated, invaded, or not existing, being thought incapable or ignorant, having obligations placed upon you, or your energy being completely depleted. Type 6, the fearing fear itself, being without support, security, guidance, being blamed, targeted, alone, or physically abandoned. Type 7, the fear of being deprived, trapped in emotional pain, limited, or bored, missing out on something fun. Type 8, the fear of being weak, powerless, harmed, controlled, vulnerable, manipulated, or left at the mercy of injustice. Type 9, the fear of conflict, tension, or discord, feeling shut out or overlooked, losing connection and relationships with others. These are deeply rooted But as we choose our essence again, it's like knowing you can survive those things. I'm not going to run from those things anymore. I'm going to know how to navigate those things because they're not true. When we don't need to find safety, security, love, validation, all of this outside of ourselves, when we can be still and know the truth that our heart needs to know, this is when we're choosing to be the child that we always were. As a child, that was hard to do, but as adults, we are able to choose our voice again. We can be individuals who release into the world what we carry, what we add. And from what I found, like, this is the journey of becoming a public figure in a way. And what does that mean? It's like, this is what I'm choosing to give. This is what I bring. This is what my essence cries out to give to community, to add to the collective experience. This is the light that I am. This is the particular kind of light that I'm made to be. And a lot of our journey sounds like I learned how to love myself and to give myself what wasn't given to me. And now I can give that to others. I didn't have anybody who looked out for me. Now I'm going to look out for others. Kind of a type 8 story. When we speak from truth and not from fear, we create connection, healing, and belonging. This is how healthy communities begin. When one person chooses to live from their essence, to release their real voice. Even if your voice shakes, let it speak. Even if your voice shakes, let it speak. Say what you need to say, like John Mayer told us. It just came to my mind. You don't need to compare your voice to anybody else's for it to have value. You don't have to say it the way other people say it. You know how healthier our families, our communities would be if each person knew that their experience mattered as it is, that they could communicate and center the conversation around their experience, that every person should know that they're worthy of that time, of that quality time. This is the importance of this work. This is the importance of doing the heart work that we do here on Heart Mondays, each and every week, finding our voice again, finding our essence, learning to give ourselves what we need. And expression is so important. Like, you don't have to work at what you add to the world. And that's what I'm looking at. Like, I'm a type 2. And I'm learning to be okay with what I bring. I don't have to change it into something else. It might feel redundant to me because it's just the same. It's Rachel's talking about things that Rachel always talked about. And I'm learning, like, that's what it's about. Like, that's what it's about. Like, this is what I bring. What you do doesn't need to look like me. It needs to be what you are. And create your space for it. Like, whatever using your voice looks like. Maybe it's talking to your friend. Maybe it is starting a YouTube channel about the things that matters to you. Building community around that. This is all our journeys, and we've never been in a better time than this day and era, or whatever the phrase is. Like, in this era, of the internet in a video, um, yeah, we can all, there's space for all of us. There's space for each and every person to do what's in their heart, to release um, the message that your heart carries for humanity. And never think that like your community or your sphere of influence is too small. Like, what does it matter? I only have 3 people listening to me. It doesn't matter. Like, what can you give to who you can give to? Like, who would benefit from what you add? And like, being a good parent is extremely important. Like, if you just, you and your child, like, that's life changing for your child, what you're able to give from your essence. Yeah. Don't look down on small beginnings. It all adds up. I have to remind myself that it all adds up. As I've chosen to sit and listen and to give what's actually in my heart, that's something I can't compare to anything. I'm having to let go of the perfectionism around what I create and the silence in my videos. Me reminding my heart that what my heart has to say is important. Um, so, yeah, guys, let my journey be an encouragement to you. I pray it has been as you watch me week after week chip away at my own patterns. I pray that it reminds you that you can too. You can too. Every real story empowers the next person to tell a real story. And it really is that simple. It feels very vulnerable, but it is the antidote. It's what's actually needed in community. I think about this as a songwriter. I'm a musician. Um, I sing, I play guitar, I play drums, keys, bass. And I feel like my journey here on Typology Corner is so intricately related to my music and me discovering my voice. It's like as I discover the value of my voice again as a being, in giving from my essence. Like Typology Corner is my essence. It's very much so is. Like I look around and I see everyone's type patterns. I see the beauty. I see what we're walking through. Like this is my eyes. This is my perception. And me learning here on Typology Corner to give my perception to you guys faithfully. It reminds my heart that it's a value as it is. And what I can pose in one video is what I give in this video. And that it's valuable. That I'm giving something from my essence. And that it doesn't need to be perfect. It just, this is what I have in this video. Yeah. Like telling my heart to be still, to listen, to be honest, to be authentic, where it's at. I can feel like a simplistic mom. You know, I don't have kids yet, but just the voice of like, y'all love each other. Be good to each other. Honor each other. What does honor look like? What does respect look like? This is the beauty of the Enneagram. Because of our struggles, it speaks to our gifts, what we add, what we become advocates for in the world, the things we're defenders of. It's like if I went through the pain of rejection, why would I reject people? Why would I do that? I want to make sure that people know that they're loved. You don't have to work to be loved by me. If it's happening, I'm still running from myself. Yeah, guys. So that's it for this video. Thanks for spending this time with me here in my heart. Um, Hearing the hearts of the 9 Enneagram types, it's a huge value of mine that we get better at discerning where other people are, that we're all walking through things. My struggle is not your struggle, and your struggle is not my struggle, and we shouldn't project them on each other. It's a lot of my values when those that are listening to this video, if you haven't listened to Mind Map Wednesdays much, that's where I talk about objective personality. But my type in objective personality is a double masculine ESTP. And that speaks to my SE being masculine as the dominant function, then feminine TI second, then masculine FE, then feminine NI at the bottom. And I say that to say the things that I want to move with, it's the SE. The masculine parts is the SE and the FE. And my heart wants to preach about value, the value of humanity, the value of individuals, the value of our voice, the value of our truths, of us being able to express ourselves. I highly value real-time processing with people, hosting a space for people to be able to do that. And what does respecting one another look like? Loving one another. I want to keep etching that out here on the channel. There's certain things that I just carry deeply as values, and they have been birthed out of my journey. And I'm still being refined. Like, I think at the core of the work that I'm called to do in this area is extremely vulnerable. And I'm still learning to love myself enough to host the space I'm created to host. And getting out of that wanting acceptance and affirmation externally to do it. That it would come from my essence of just me being grounded in my own love for myself. And that's been a journey. That's been a journey for me. Yeah. That's been a journey. And that's the realness of it, is that what you're created for, you're created for, not your mom, not your dad, not your siblings, not your friends. And they might not comprehend, understand, or be able to support in a way that is meaningful or that you can actually feel. Does it negate the work you're doing? No, it does not. But emotionally, it can be a refinement on you in the birthing of your essence. It's a test of your resolve. It's a test of where it's coming from, what your motivation is, why you're doing it. So it's all for your good. The things you go through to birth your voice, it's all for your good. It's necessary for the refinement of it, for the purification. And this is what I was speaking about, like letting go of the core fear of your type, where you let your core fear happen. and you discover it doesn't have power over you anymore. Rejection doesn't have power over me anymore because I've been rejected a lot, and I'm going to be rejected more because I've got things that I need to actively build and actively do that I don't need to perceive other people's no as rejection to my calling and what I'm doing as a confirmation, or whatever the opposite of confirmation is, uh, as a validation or a disapproval of my path. It's like, this is what I'm here to do, and I need to do it. I don't need particular people's support. I need to do this work on behalf of those that are ready. And finding those people can be sifting through a lot of stuff. And that's why it's so important for me to be rejected, that I don't stop. And I encourage you not to stop in what you're called to bring to earth, to this collective experience we have together. Like, I like to paint a picture when I see it. My husband is a type 1, and what he's doing beautifully represents what type 1s bring to the world in health and healing. I'm a type 2, and I want to continue to articulate the journeys of each of the types and what they're like at their essence. What do they bring versus just the coping strategy, the vices, the hard side to see in ourselves, but like to see the whole journey, and to help us navigate our unique paths. That's my heart here at Typology Corner. And yeah, um, this heart work is necessary to get there. So yeah, even if your voice shakes, let it speak. I had a false close earlier. As you can see, I kept talking. So, lastly, comment your Enneagram type if you know it, and how you're learning to silence or reclaim, how you've learned to silence your voice in the past, or also how you're learning to reclaim your voice in the present. Let me know in the comments below, and then subscribe for more Heart Work Mondays, us talking about the Enneagram and getting back in touch with our true essence. And send this to someone who's ready to speak up, not to perform, but to actually be seen. Somebody who's ready to have a space, that they have something burning on their heart that they know they need to talk about, but haven't had the courage to do yet. This video might be a blessing to them and helping them unlock something in themselves, or just to see something new. So share this video out on Facebook, YouTube, whatever works best for you. I'm in both places. And let's continue to do this heart work together, guys. Thank you for watching. If you got value out of this video, go and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate the feedback and knowing that it made a difference in your life in some way. And yeah, guys, stay tuned for the next one. I'm honored to walk on this path with you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.